I hate Chelsea. Honestly, I hate Chelsea. But we're playing them, so we got to discuss. Welcome. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Khanage. Preview to the Chelsea game. And you know, I hate Chelsea. Honest to God, I hate Chelsea. But since I've met this person who I brought on to speak Chelsea, I've become to like him. I can't say I like Chelsea, but I can tolerate Chelsea. Matisse, welcome to Khanage, my brother.
Back in the building, people. It's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy to be here. And yeah, it's a big game. Massive game to talk about. So the fight for top four.
Yeah, man. It's mad. It's a huge game. Also joining me is my brother out in Cali. What are you saying, Avi?
Yeah, good, Grizz. Just another
change the scenery a bit, getting all professional me. Like before, it was all lounge business. We could see your property out in California in the background. You know,
humble beginnings now. Humble beginnings.
Why have you changed it all, man? Why have you changed it all? Like, is there a reason? Like, particular reason?
You can't have meat every day. You got to switch it up in a steak, fish, chicken. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. People on the channel will know Avi's the face of Trippers right now. He's been on every show this week. So yeah, man. You know, but it is what it is. You know. Thanks for joining me, Avi, out in California. Matisse. First of all, I need to give a shout out to my sponsors, man. Everyone needs to go on www.yourfutcard.com and put in LFCDT for the 20% discount. If you haven't had your cards made, I don't know what you're waiting for. You know what I mean? Matisse, out of curiosity, what kind of like levels would you have on your card? I mean, what skill, high, energy, pace, high?
I'm not gonna lie. It's been a while since I played ball, so
be honest, man.
What am I even gonna get? I mean, maybe height and pace, I'd say, because that might be what I have left. I haven't played ball in a few years. Lockdowns obviously killed that as well. So I don't even know what tech I'm bringing right now. I don't know the levels.
Yeah. Well, listen, people can go out there and check them out. Go and get your own cards made. The children love them, man. Everyone loves them. You know, this company is great. They do all the sizes. The quality of card is magnificent. And you get a 20% discount if you type in LFCDT. What else do you want? Everybody welcome in the chat. Chat slowly building up. I know I've hit you with a 9 p.m. show again, but it is what it is, man. Welcome in the chat. All the usual people are in there already gathering up. Matisse, man. You guys haven't been relevant for the last 3-4 years to us, right? It's fair to say.
Yeah.
But before that, the 3-4 years before that, you guys were, you could say, the top dogs, like along with City, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about going into matches with Liverpool and Chelsea? How do you feel about Liverpool as a football club? Because I've told you in my intro, I hate them. I hate Chelsea, and I'll go on to why. But what do you feel about Liverpool as a club and the relationship with the two teams?
Yeah, do you know what it is with you guys? Yeah, is that them old bit of beefs, and that's what I call them, bitter beefs with Jose Mourinho and Rafa Benitez. That's what stuck out in my brain. You know, those Champions League nights, the 4-4 at Stamford Bridge, the 3-1 win at Anfield, the time that you knocked us out as well with the ghost goal. This guy here with the 2 goals at Anfield, that's what the reference is all about.
I know. Subtle, but sold there. But sold there.
This was done on purpose. Don't get it twisted. No accidents happen. But, you know, Liverpool, Anfield is always a difficult test. Always. It's not a stadium that we go to and I think, we're just going to batter these guys. Last season, the 5-3 defeat, you know, that was a great game. But defensively, we was all over the place. And was it last season or season before? I think it was last season. But yeah, the 5-3, I think after...
That was last season lockdown, wasn't it?
Pulisic, 5-3. And it was a great game. Pulisic, played well in the attacking sense, but defensively he was all over the place. So when it comes to Liverpool, I always think to myself, it's going to be a good game. I don't see it being a 0-0. I think you guys you're not one to sit back like United at the weekend. Jesus Christ, that was a snooze fest. I nearly passed out. Do you know what I mean? It was one of those ones. So I don't think you guys are going to bring that to the table. I think this is two attacking managers who need to win the game. Not even want to, need to win. We're both behind West Ham. We're both in the same pot. Everton are in there as well. We all need to get top 4. So someone's going to miss out. We have to win for us, and I'm sure for you as well. You have to win as well.
100%. Avi, Chelsea Football Club. Does it mean anything to you? Whether it's love or whether it's whether it's admiration, whether it's respect. What's Chelsea? What Chelsea mean to you when this fixture comes around?
I always had a soft spot for Chelsea. Funnily enough, before the Roman takeover, Ranieri, Hullet, Vialli, those were like the players that I grew up in the 90s.
Yeah.
Glenn Hoddle, John Spencer, like these were really good players. Gavin Peacock, these were like good players. And then as soon as the Roman takeover, then and I think with the Mourinho and Benitez and the Liverpool whole sort of rivalry came because there was talk that Mourinho wanted to come to Liverpool, but we said no, and we went with the safer option, the club's option, which was Rafa Benitez. From there, it just stemmed, and then the Carling Cup final when Gerrard scored that own goal, then that love sort of flirtation between Chelsea and Gerrard. So it just stemmed from there, and then to top it all off, the Champions League semi-finals in 2005, which, I think you beat us both in the league twice, I think 1-0. Scoring one. And then when it came to the Champions League, we were sort of like just different. And then I'll never forget that Champions League semi-final. I'm sure Grizz will say the same. That atmosphere, the ghost goal apparently is what you guys, still sing about. So, I think the rivalry stemmed from there. And then after that, obviously, Mourinho's little digs at Rafa, it just sort of stemmed from there. But then I think it's calmed down recently. I think, I was admiration of that Conte team. I love the way, I love Antonio Conte. I think he's a great manager. So there was a little bit of respect there. And then now it's sort of like dwindled down again. Now I'm starting to hate them, especially since Frank's little antics last season at Anfield at the back end of the season.
Yes. Giving it a bigger.
Do you know what is? For me, I think it's pretty much the same what Avi's saying. I used to love Vialli, man. Them days, Zola. I mean, you can't hate Zola. If you hate Zola, football ain't for you. Even as a person, as a footballer, you can't. Di
Matteo as well.
Di Matteo, I didn't like him too much though, because I thought he had a bit of snide in him, but which is good for you. But from the opposition, you always look for the people that bring joy, to your life. And Zolo's one of those people that brought joy, man, when you watch him play. Yeah. But that Jose and Rafa era, guys. For me, that was at our rivalries at our peak that it's ever been. That was like sort of the Ferguson Wenger. Obviously we weren't on the level to challenge for the league at the time, so it couldn't be talent-wise like on the level of Ferguson Wenger. But in terms of spitefulness, in terms of competitiveness, in terms of pure, what's the word? Was it hatred? Would you say, Matisse?
I think it was. I think it was hatred because. The thing is with Liverpool is, again, like you said, league-wise, we were all over you. But something about them Champions League nights at Anfield just couldn't get it out of our heads. Like, the atmosphere was nuts. I remember that game, and I just thought to myself, we are in a cauldron. We are in the cathedral. We are in, like, literally in their house. It felt like a house. Do you know what I mean? It felt like you was intruding just being there. It was those nights was. I think those Champions League battles really did define, like, even afterwards as well. I speak about the 4-4 at Stamford Bridge, Xabi Alonso with the penalty and Dirk Kuyt and all these guys and Fabio Aurelio. I just thought these games were some of the best games I've watched football-wise. Like,
no doubt.
So entertaining. You never knew what was going to happen. Gerrard versus Lampard, Torres when he was at Liverpool versus Drogba. I thought it was incredible. Torres always used to score loads of goals against us for Liverpool. Then when we sign him, can't kick a ball straight. I just, we done you there. Nice.
Matisse makes a great point. It was that Carragher versus Terry, Gerrard versus Lampard.
So many rivalries.
And that's what it was. Chelsea were backing their boy in Frank, and then we were backing our boy in Steven Gerrard. And then, great ties. There was one tie, I think Chris Pratt just mentioned, the FA Cup semi-final in 2006 as well.
If Chris Black mentioned it, why didn't you bring it up? Why are you doing Chris Black dirty like that? Just bring it up. How many times have I told you, man? This technology ain't for me.
So,
you see it,
the 2006 semi-final at Old Trafford, that was a great game as well. So we played him in the period cup competitions as well. We played him like 3 seasons straight in the Champions League. You know, the 05, 06 in the group stages, then 07 again when we got to the final at Athens. Yeah.
Do you know what? I used to. You're right. The atmosphere that they used to create, because for me, and this conversation has come up about the greatest Premier League teams, ever, because of City's antics last couple of seasons. The question has to be asked: was that Chelsea team? I think it was the second season. The first time you won it, Matisse. The second season.
Yeah.
For me, that was one of the greatest teams the Premier League's ever seen. And because honestly, I think it had absolutely everything from your keeper to the spine, the team spirit Jose had created by then. You had Duff and Robben on the wings and Joel Cole waiting to dip in when he feels like it. You had Drogba peak. Would you agree? I'm pretty sure you'd agree with me.
Agree more.
Is that the greatest Chelsea team, or have I missed one?
Yeah, for me, 100%. We had another team under Ancelotti which broke records in terms of goal scoring, which was a great team as well. Malouda, Drogba, and Elka. But I think that first Chelsea team was just special. It's the one I always go back to when I talk about our standards now, and I talk about what we should be aspiring for in terms of player profile in different positions. It's always that team that I'll go back to, because, like you said, the spine of that team was just bulletproof. That is what I would call it, bulletproof. And the mentality of that team, there was like 5 or 6 captains in that team, plus a manager who was arrogant as hell. Everything. That was prime Jose Mourinho. He literally, and that's what I think that's what rubbed Rafa the wrong way, was the arrogance. I am the special one. I can't be touched. I don't need to prove myself in England. You've only got one European champion. It's Jose. It's Silas Ferguson. I don't need to prove myself. I think all of that really just egged it on, and I think that's where the rivalry and I think that Chelsea team there was the pinnacle. I think just too many world-class players, man. We purchased a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Memories of that team, Evie?
Yeah, great. Like you said, I think Robben was brought in January, wasn't he? In 2005-2006 season, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was.
And then he went on. He scored in the first 4 or 5 games. Yeah. I think with Chelsea, Michael Essien, another great player. He came from Lyon. What a superb player. Makelele, old guard from Madrid. He was superb. Yeah. They had the money, Grizz, didn't they? They could lure all these players and play for Chelsea, and Chelsea in London as well. That that whole excitement and whatnot. I think
I get the money factor. I just want to quickly butt in there, right? Because you can take revenge later to butt in as well, right? But I'm gonna just say, I know they had the money. Okay, but from what I can remember, and I don't know if people in the chat can correct me like they usually do, but I don't remember too many duds being bought in that period by Chelsea, because like City, like we talk about City, and they spend 50 million on fullbacks every season until they get it right. 60 million on centre backs until they get it right. I don't remember too many duds from that era. Can you guys?
Sean Wright-Phillips. He was quite expensive for Man City.
Not a dud.
No, he was actually still decent for us. He's still playing.
He wasn't doing the role. No, THIAGO, he wasn't.
No, not dud.
No, you don't think so?
No, someone saying Kesman, Kesman was close. 5 million.
Yeah, Kesman would be one. Yeah,
Kesman was that. Yeah, Kesman, you could say.
Now people saying Malouda. Malouda done bits. Malouda done bits. Yeah. All these people. THIAGO was an incredible squad player. No, incredible squad player. He's not. Yeah, that's what you need to win. Every time he stepped in, he done the job. Manish done a good job.
He was terrible, Grizz. Come on, don't keep harping on about Manish. He was terrible.
No. I can't agree. Manish.
He was riding off that 2004 Euros, Manish. He played well in that.
Okay, fair. Maybe you can have that one. Yeah, that's fair enough. I think Thiago's a very good squad player. I think Thiago was every time he came in, he did the job. Portuguese, I think he tried to take a lot of those Portuguese players. He took Deco. I mean, Deco came later on. I think he wanted to take Deco. Took Carvalho. Carvalho was incredible.
Matisse, we need to spend a minute on Carvalho.
Yeah, very underrated.
Because a lot has been said about Vidic. We always hear about this Vidic talk.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about Vidic when Carvalho played in that league as well.
Yeah.
Because for me, Carvalho was your ultimate centre back.
Yeah.
He could. Do you remember that goal he scored?
That goal. Yeah, I remember.
And he was.
Yeah, the one
Two,
against
Manchester United. Yeah. And he loved. He was the ultimate lover of defending. He loved it. It was a passion for him. Your thoughts on Carvalho? Because I think he's not talked about enough. Your thoughts, guys, on Carvalho?
He isn't talked about enough. Yeah. For me,
100%. You know, I think. Can you hear me? Am I here?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, Grizz. Yeah, I think he wanted you to speak about Carvalho, Matisse.
Oh, okay, yeah. So for me, he's never spoken about as the top. You know, everyone speaks about Terry, Ferdinand, Vidic, as you said as well, Van Dijk as well. Now recently, no one ever speaks of Carvalho. Very underspoken about defender, and I think him and Terry, that partnership, it was exactly what you need. You know, the perfect partnership, yin and yang. They both complemented each other very well, and I feel like Carvalho is very slept on. You know, he has some flair about him. Like you said, that goal that he scored against Manchester United, he took it like a striker. Do you know? Always 100%. Happy to mop up, clean up as well. A little bit of a sweeper defender at times as well, when John Terry would get really combative ahead of him, but also could step out from the back as well, play the ball out. I thought he was incredible, and we tried a lot to bring over a lot of those players from Portugal that Mourinho knew about, but couldn't get them all over. That Porto team was incredible as well, so I can understand why.
Paulo Ferreira, he could go right back or left back. Very underrated. Yeah. He wasn't ever like an exciting right back, but he was a solid 7 out of 10. A bit like James Milner, came in, did the job, and he didn't get enough recognition as well. So yeah, Carvalho's class. I think William Gallas was class.
Yeah, he was.
William Gallas.
It was a weird one. He went to Arsenal, but he was class. Yeah.
He was part of that Ashley Cole deal, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, we won that deal.
The other way.
I think that was a good. We did good there.
Yeah. But the thing is, this is what I mean. This is what's special about the games when we played them, because they had all these great players, the money and everything. Yet when it came to Champions League, we used to just be able to raise it over 2 legs somehow. Because I was at that second. I wasn't at the first semi-final, the ghost goal one. I was at the other one where Aga scored from the free kick. The free kick he scored from. It went to
penalties, didn't it? Yeah.
That's right. And I didn't go to the Dortmund recently, the semi-final, which people talk about the greatest atmosphere ever.
Yeah.
But for me, that game, honest to God, guys, the atmosphere was unreal. And I felt sick. Like, in terms of the tension was so much, I actually puked up. I'm going to confess live on my own show. You know what I mean? I may look hard, but I puked up. Right, I may look hard and give it the Bertie Big Bollocks, but I puked up with nervousness, with fear, because that meant so much to me. Because I think that was the reason why I hate Chelsea so much. It was the uprising of new Chelsea fans in that era. So all my boys, a lot of them started supporting Chelsea because the money was there, the glamour, the players. So it just drove my hatred, through the roof for Chelsea. And as we talk about now, coming to now, it's not the same. Lampard tried to raise the rivalry, but Lampard's gone now, unfortunately. We've gone up levels. We're a different kettle of fish now. Well, not right now, but over the last couple of years. How are you feeling going into this game now then, Matisse? Like, right up to date with our position, where we are, with the situation where we're in injury-wise. You guys, a new coach, tactical Tuchel coming into the club and changing it a bit, more controlled game you're playing. How are you finding it?
It's funny because with all the injuries you've got, I would have been most worried about your forwards. But then to combat that, our defense has been great since Tuchel's come in. We've only conceded 2 goals. 1 was an own goal, and we've kept that. I've been able to say that for weeks because of Atletico, no goals conceded. Man United clean sheet. So I don't think Man United really had any shots in that game, really. We've managed to limit teams, contain teams very well defensively, whether that's us keeping possession or just our general shape and our defending as a unit with the 3 at the back, even with Thiago Silva injured, and he's going to still be missing for this game. So your most threatening thing for me is your attack, but our defense is the strongest. So again, it kind of cancels each other out. And then as I go up the pitch for us, it gets a little bit more worrying because we're a bit toothless up front. We're not able to put teams away. We're not able to, if we're dominating games, you'll still be in the game because the scoreline is still tight, because we can't get the second, get the third, and kill off the game because our strikers are not eating at the moment, as I always say. They're not finishing their dinner. So for me, I think I don't know who's fit for Liverpool, because I thought everybody was injured, and suddenly now Fabinho's back, and I'm like, what's going on?
Nah, don't believe the hype, because like every week we hear about players going to be coming back, and then players drop off in training with stomach bugs, and not even ordinary stomach bugs that keep you out for a day or so. Like they could go on for weeks, and Keita injures himself in the canteen and shit. So listen, you might hear about players coming back, but just wait until the day with us, because that's the way we're rolling at the moment. How are you feeling, Avi, going into Chelsea, man? Because I hate these games still. I hate them. Honest to God, I hate Liverpool Chelsea.
Chris just makes a point. At some point, we have to win in 2021 at home. It's mad how many games we've lost at home compared to the last 4 years. It's. I'm actually confident. Tuchel hasn't got a great record at Anfield. He's come with Dortmund, beat him. Then he's come with PSG. We beat them 3-2 when he was at PSG. I'm pretty confident tomorrow. I really am. I think Tuchel, he's going to get a bit of a free ride because he has come in the middle of the season. He will have a clear sum of the ideas that he wants. He's got a set of players he can't really change. He can't really sort of buy anyone right now. So he'll get a free ride. That's why I think it makes him a dangerous opposition in Europe. I think it'll make him dangerous in Europe. But in terms of tomorrow, I fancy us laying it on Chelsea tomorrow, Grizz. I do actually, and I know I'm confident and I'm always upbeat, but we've got to break the rut one day. We've got to break that curse of 2021 when not winning at home. So I think we win tomorrow.
I think it's intriguing, man. Honest to God, it's very, very intriguing, because we've been beaten in, obviously we know, by far less talented teams, I think it's fair to say, in the last 4 or 5 games. Chelsea bring a lot of talent. You've been playing with a back three, isn't it? And I just wanted your thoughts on sort of the way he's not. I suppose he's a coach; he's allowed to do what he wants. But sort of he's brought back Rudiger into the fold, dumped Zuma. All right, Silva's out. Christensen seems to have a new lease of life. The fullback situation as well. A lot of rotation in the fullback areas. What do you think he'll settle with eventually?
I think right now it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, because there's a lot of club politics going on. There's a lot of players that have been brought back that Chelsea were looking to get rid of long term. Players like Rudiger that they tried to sell last summer but couldn't really get the deal over the line in the end with clubs. Players like Marcos Alonso have always been really on the peripherals now in the recent years in terms of getting rid of as well. They have 3 left backs on the book in terms of Emerson, Chilwell, and Alonso.
That's true.
It's ridiculous. We had 5 centre backs on the books when Tomori was here before he went out on loan to AC Milan. So there's a lot of players being brought in because the squad is too bulky, it's too big, and that was always Lampard's issue as well. As much as tactically as well, he wasn't quite good enough in terms of his knowledge and maybe in terms of leading the team forward. But having a bloated squad and having to deal with that club politics behind the scenes as well. You've got half of the team which are seniors that have won World Cups and have won trophies, and then you've got another half of the squad that is young. Your Mason Mount, your Callum Hudson-Odoi, your Reece Jameses that are young, maybe technically better as well. And to try and manage that is very difficult. You've almost got two sides of the coin that you need to bring together and mesh. And when you've got a bloated team and 5 centre-backs and 3 left-backs, you can't keep everyone happy. It's not possible.
The balance ain't there.
There's no balance. So I think politically what's happened is that he said to himself, I can't get rid of anybody, regardless of who I rate and who I don't, but I've got to get this team into the top 4 objectively into the end of the season. So I'm going to have to bring back some of these very influential senior players on big money, like your Rudigers, like your Marcos Alonsos, who may have been causing a bit of havoc behind the scenes. And I'm going to have to bring them back in, bring back Cesar Azpilicueta as well, the captain, let him lead from the front in the team. Jorginho comes back in as well. And then in the summer, we'll address who's good enough and who's not and see what we can get out the door. But I think Lampard was a bit naive in the fact that he thought he could just let all of these senior guys just rot on the bench and not really talk to them too much and give them any clear guidance and how they can get back into the team. Even if they lie, but just make them feel like they're still part of it until you get rid of them. And that wasn't the case. And then time tells that's what happened. So I don't know if we can make too many conclusions on long-term projections for Tuchel in terms of shape. in terms of, player profile, because I think he's working with what he's got and what's been left over, and he's just trying to achieve the target. Right now, we're on a very objective mindset, which is don't really mind the style of football, don't really care about anything other than the results. Get the results, get us into the top 4, then we can talk long summer to do pre-season, transfer windows and all that kind of stuff. So right now, there's not too many conclusions to take from Tuchel because we don't really know what he likes yet in this team. He's kind of just... He's giving everybody a cuddle and say, I like all of you. You don't. That's a lie. You know what I mean? But he's doing it anyway because that's what you've got to do, isn't it?
He's learning a lot. Before we go on, just shout out to Big Steve with a cheeky comment there. Light breeze tomorrow, small chance of rain. I think that's a little dig at me saying that Klopp's been moaning about the weather, but yeah, shut up, Steve. But I'm gonna sort him out later on. But someone asked, there was a very good question, and I wanted to ask you this as well. But I'll ask Avi as well, because he might know. I want his opinion as well. This question right here: what is your opinion of Mendy? Because they spent money on Mendy, and they called him the savior. And sort of, do you think, Avi, was it more to do with as long as it's not Kepa, as opposed to Mendy looks like a great keeper? What have you made of him so far?
I think he's an improvement of some sort, but I don't think he's great. He's not great for a title challenge sort of push for Chelsea next season. I think they'll have to look at that goalkeeping situation again. To be honest, I think Cech was registered this season, wasn't he, as a player? I think you should have just stuck with Cech. I think he played a reserve game as well this season. Mendy, I haven't seen anything like that sticks to me. Like, what's his greatest asset? Like, his kicking is a bit questionable. His shot saving, it's okay, but I
disagree. I think
here's an asset. One is 6'6" and the other is 5'11". Matisse, is that right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we look at Kepa. The cross collection was awful. Couldn't collect from set pieces. Couldn't control his box. Didn't have the communication skills to lead a defense either, which is what a goalkeeper has to do. We talk about ball playing as well. I don't think Mendy's was bought to do ball playing. I don't think he was bought to be the next Alisson in that regard or Ederson, but he's been clean with it. I know there's been a few dodgy moments and there's been a few Cruyff turns and a few hearts have been in mouths, but in general, there's been no big error leading to a goal. That's one thing I can say with Mendy, is that he's a very strong, sturdy goalkeeper. And yeah, I can see why people think we need to upgrade again to go for the next level. And I think that's why Chelsea have potentially been linked to Donnarumma, who's run out of contract this season. And that's the next level, isn't it? But for what we paid and the expectation of, who is this guy? We don't really know him too well. We just have to scout him. When we've just dashed 70 million on a Kepa on a 7-year contract and seen how he's turned out, I can't have any complaints with Mendy. I think he's one of them guys where he's had a real rise in his career in terms of his journey. He was unemployed not so long ago. Agent left him and then he's come here and he's managed to rise back up the ranks. And he's just one of those guys that, yes, he's happy to be here, but he's also working damn hard. And clean sheets wise in the league, he's up there with the best of them as well. Champions League, the same thing as well. This is a team that have not conceded much goals under Tuchel. Were decent defensive at the start of the season when Anthony Barry had his initial effect as well when he came from Wigan as a defensive coach. And we was keeping a lot of clean sheets at the start of the season. We had that rough patch, but when Mendy had that rough patch, the whole team had the rough patch. So it's very difficult for me to just stick it on Mendy because everybody was awful. Through that moment before Lampard was sacked, everything from that game against Wolves to Everton to Arsenal beat down as well to into the new year where Chelsea were losing games and then up until Lampard was sacked. That whole Christmas period from December to the end of January, shocking, absolutely shocking. So I can't really just blame it on him, to be honest. It's not easy when you're playing with some of these players. And no,
look, we know goalkeepers take time to settle in. New keeper, new language, new country. He's very young still as well. People forget that. A different style under Lampard, a different style under Tuchel. So it will take time. Avi, going into tomorrow's game, with the situation we're in, the centre-back situation, the Fabinho coming back, the question on every Liverpool fan's lips, near enough, is Fabinho's fit, right? I didn't want to release too much team information because Matisse is the spy in the camp right at the moment. All right, we've got to say it. Fabinho's back tomorrow, yeah? What are you doing with him? Avi, what are you doing with Fabinho tomorrow?
I'm going to start him as a 6. He's got to play in midfield tomorrow.
Who are you dropping out of that brilliant performance? All right, it was Sheffield United. Brilliant's an overstatement. I got carried away. But that nice, calm, good, solid performance from Liverpool in the midfield. Who are you dropping?
I'll go with Genie, Fab, and I'll go with Jones tomorrow. Thiago needs a little bit of a break.
Ooh, okay.
Bring in Fab. He'll protect the back too. Phillips and Kabak. I think that's what we should go with. Fab in front of them. He'll protect them. And then you've got Trent, Robbo on the either side of the wing backs. And then you've got that midfield three. It's an industrious midfield. Jones, he's getting better and better. His game discipline's getting better. His in-game management. I think he's a talented boy. I know Foden gets the plaudits and whatnot, but this kid in a year's time, you're going to see something special. And then Genie, because he's captain right now, isn't he? He's the longest serving member in that team right now. And then our front three, I think our front three will be interesting tomorrow. I really think Klopp might.
No, he won't start Jota. He won't start Jota tomorrow, man.
You don't think he'll bite the bullet tomorrow, no? You don't think he's fit?
No chance. He's fit, but he won't be starting tomorrow. Way too early. So I think I see what you're saying about Thiago being dropped. But these are the kind of games like Chelsea will have memories of Thiago in that first game where I know they had a man down, but he controlled it. He came on and he was just orchestrating everything on the pitch like a proper puppet master. So I don't think this is the game to rest Thiago personally, but it's wicked that you touched upon Curtis Jones, and I'm going to segue Curtis Jones into another player that Chelsea have been hyping up, and rightly so. I think he's a very good player, very similar trajectory of Jones, and that's Mason Mount. Talk to us about Mason Mount, because we think the world of Curtis Jones, right? We think Curtis Jones is an absolute baller. Who's younger of the two? Does anyone know?
I think
Mason's
Curtis
22.
Jones. Yeah, Curtis Jones is 20.
Yeah, so definitely. Jones.
And Mount's
22. Yeah, so Jones is definitely younger. Yeah.
Talk to us about Mason Mount, B.
I think, with Mason as well, is that he's improved so much from last year, mainly because he's playing more in his natural position, which was the 8. Now he's moved into this double 10, fake 10 position. But the thing is with Mason is that, yes, 100% he can still improve on his end product, his finishing, his final ball, his final decision making. But he just brings so much to this team, In tight areas, he's got a little bit of tech, which people, don't really notice him to dribble in to get himself out of tight situations. He drifts into the right channel. Great delivery of a cross as well. And really, he's very good on the half turn, receiving the ball in the position and then turning and then breaking away. So, plays the game at a tempo, the urgency, you can feel it when he's on the ball. Like he understands that the time is ticking on the clock.
I like that about him. I like that about him. He's got that.
Some of these players just play through the motions, like as if they got all the time in the world, like the clock's not running down. As soon as the football match whistle starts, you are running out of time immediately. And I'm not saying to rush everything, but Mason gets it where it's like every time he's on the ball, I can see he is putting everything into it. Every pass, every tackle, everything. And he's really, he's leaving nothing on that pitch. And people, they bang on about, work rate and effort and whatnot. I can put those things forward for him because he actually does have tech. And you can see it with the way that he takes his shots from range, the free kicks, the corners, the way that he links up as well. He's got it. It's just, for me, it's just that final killer ball that he's missing, the final shot in the box where you just need a bit of composure, settle yourself. He got a goal against Sheffield United away from home. Great finish, left foot in the box, arrived late, got the finish. Need more of that. You just want it on a more consistent basis, but he's young. But I think he's shown a lot for me this season. I think without that Lampard tag, I think he'd have a lot more respect under his name. I think sometimes people in sports, especially in the media, are very quick to pin people with each other. Jorginho, Sarri, Mount with Lampard and father and son. Regardless of what manager he's under, clearly, evidently, as we've seen now at Chelsea with Tuchel coming in, he is going to play matches because he is gonna make sure he tries to deliver at the absolute top level as much as possible. So he's got a lot to learn, but I'm very impressed with him this season. I think he's gone up a gear, and most Chelsea fans should be able to see that. In terms of chances created, he's up there. I know he takes the set pieces, but I've just come from watching Willian take our corners and not beat the first man from last season, so I'm not going to complain that Mason Mount's creating opportunities from set pieces. That's what you want him to do. If you're taking the set pieces, create the opportunities from them. Loads of other players up there will take those set pieces and there will not be a complaint about it. And then for tackles and interceptions, he's up there for midfielders as well. So I think his all-round game has really improved. And then it's just the finer details that he needs to improve on to take him to the next level, to be that Phil Foden in the final third. But Phil Foden is a freak. I don't like to compare players sometimes with others. And, people talk about strikers. Oh, you're not Mbappe, you're not a Haaland, so you're not great. You know, those guys are freaks, but on average, I think these guys that are coming through, your Sakas, they're looking great, man. England have a very bright future.
He was at Derby unknown, wasn't he? With because we had Harry Wilson on time.
Out
Harry
Wilson was great.
They were both ripping it up. Yeah, and they're the one who pushed them onto the playoffs position, isn't it? And they missed out against, I think it was Villa as well. And again, it was Lampard. I think that's what happens. It's that tag, isn't it? Lampard and Mount, and bring him up, just like with Sarri with Jorginho in for Napoli. That tag always sort of carries them. But no, I think Mason Mount has definitely improved this season. I think last season he was a bit of a hit and miss, but it's his first sort of real hit in English, in the top league. So it was a bit of inconsistency, but this season he has been really good. I saw him again, I think Palace away this season. Really, he played really well. And I think he scored the winner as well. But his all-round game was really good. He's quite tenacious. He reminds me similar to I know they're really close mates because Christian Pulisic, when he was about 8-9 years old, he was at Chelsea because he had trials there.
Yeah.
And he reminds me of that sort of tenacious. Like when he gets the ball, you think that something's going to happen. It's like when Pulisic gets that ball and he's just direct going forward.
Yeah, they're active on the ball.
Yeah, that's what it is. So no, it's interesting, and it's good to see that Tuchel has faith in him and he's playing him.
That's a massive boost. Honestly, it is because with the amount of riches they've got, the likes of Kovacic, Kante still at the club, Jorginho. He's got options, but I think it's fair to say that he's put a lot of trust in Mount, and that's great going, especially as a lot of people would accuse of him being sort of Lampard's pet, but Mount's proven the quality. Mount and Jones, like sort of one end of the spectrum of a career, like both very young. I want to talk about someone who's hopefully coming to the end of his career. Because
can I put you on the spot before we sort of?
I know what you're gonna do.
Can I put you on the spot, Grizz, if I may? Can I?
It depends on it, bro. Like, what are you gonna like gun me on my own
okay,
show?
Jones at 20, and we've got Mason Mount at 22, right? And it's just for Grizz. Who has the better career going forward?
Oh, this is one. I thought you were gonna pick on me or something. This is easy. I can handle this one. It's difficult to say. I'm not gonna sit on the fence. I like both of them. I'm a quite big Mason Mount fan. Who's going to have the bigger career, the better career? I'd like to think Jones because he's at Liverpool. I'm hoping that we sort of win more trophies and he has a more glorious career. But yeah, it's not much to choose between them. Obviously, Matisse will have his own view. But what I wanted to talk about, go on to, is a guy, as I said, hopefully he retires very soon, because boy, this guy is just going on and on and on, and he's so underrated. We've talked about a couple of underrated players, but Mr. Giroud, man. and he always seems to turn up against us, Avi. What are we saying? How are we handling Giroud with our centre backs? Or could our centre backs be more suited to be handling Giroud? So the likes of Phillips, it gives him a target to just look after Giroud, and that's it. How are you handling Giroud if you're Liverpool? And what do you think of Giroud?
I think he's criminally underrated. Even at Montpellier, before he came to Arsenal, there was a lot of talk about Olivier Giroud, and then he comes to Arsenal. I think he was a 1-2 at Arsenal. He scored a lot of goals. I think his first season he notched up 25 in 48 or something. So he's always been like a 1-2 striker, and then came to Chelsea. I think the Chelsea move, I think everyone sort of looked at it and thought, wait a minute, why are Chelsea going for Giroud? But the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? He scored against them in the Europa League final. He's put in some great, especially in Europe this season. He's been there sort of secret. He scored a hat-trick this season as well, didn't he? Away from
four
home,
goals in against Sevilla.
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah.
So he has been underrated. He's a World Cup winner. And France have shown faith in him. Under Deschamps, that he's played him in big games. So how do we handle him, Grizz? I think it's a difficult one because he does win his fair share of headers against the big boys. In the 2017 and 18 season, I think he beat Van Dijk to a header, which led to them winning 1-0 at Stamford Bridge.
100% he did, yeah.
Phillips is a help. Phillips, Kabak, we haven't seen him really in the year, but I think that's why it's imperative that we play Phillips tomorrow. We play the two centre backs and then Fabinho. We've just got to stop them having set pieces, isn't it? Like corners, we've got to stop all that. But no, he's always a handful, Giroud. But he's also good on the feet. And that was the same comparison with Crouch. Oh, he's great in the air. Crouch was never a great header of the ball. If you think about it, he could never get like enough pace on the ball. On the deck, he was brilliant, and he was very underrated. And same with Giroud.
Crouch needed this neck muscles, didn't he? He didn't have this neck. You need this neck to be.
Because I don't think anyone in the world has that neck like yours, though.
Fair point. But if Crouch had my neck, you're talking serious. You're talking serious header of the ball. But Giroud going to start tomorrow after we hyping him up, Matisse, or is Abraham fit or Werner going to come in? Because you've got options, man.
Yeah, what I'm starting to see very quickly is that I'm glad is that Werner's not going to play up front. I don't think by himself. I think Werner's more of a shadow striker or a left forward or someone that is a hybrid between a striker and a winger, but nothing in between. I think when you look at Werner at Leipzig, he played in a 2 with Poulsen. I think he's better running off a target man, and some of that distraction is taken away when you play as Giroud because they focus on the big guy, and then Werner makes his little runs in the left channel and cuts in on his right foot and things like that. When you play him up front of his own, with his first touch and the lack of physicality and also, header of the ball not really there either, then you start to give him problems. So for me, I'd play, Kai Havertz has been mentioned by a lot of our fan base. I'd like to see him as well and see if him and Werner can strike up a partnership up front together because they did it for the national team. I think Kai Havertz has got the heading ability, but also should be able to finish as well. First touch. He should have all those. He should have the foundations for a good player. Maybe it's too soon. But when is the right time with all these big games coming up? We're in the crunch time of the season. There's no game really that works that he slots into. We've got Everton next. That's not going to be any easier. So, I mean, it will be. I think if I was to predict, I think it will be Giroud because I don't think he'll
pick me a team. Pick me a team.
That's good.
What I would want to see: Mendy, Chilwell, Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta, and then Hudson-Odoi at right wing back. Mainly because I think on transition on the break, Salah on the right, that's too much pace for Marcos Alonso. And I'd also want us to be able to be flexible where if we play Chilwell, we can go to a back 4, shuffle Aspi across and move Hudson-Odoi up into the wing position. So we can play 2 formations at once and adapt accordingly. Midfield, I mean, there's a lot of shouts to play Kante. To be honest, when Kante plays, our win rate is not really any higher, I wouldn't say, than when it's with Jorginho and Kova. Jorginho and Kova have a bit of a better chemistry, but Kante is obviously a better player out of the 3. So it's about partnership and then the individual. But this game is probably suited to Kante. I'd probably play Kante and Jorginho. I think Jorginho is more of a sitter. Kova and Kante together, they're both attracted to the ball. They both like to roam, whether it's on the ball, off the ball. Nobody really sits and dictates. So I think Jorginho and Kante I'd go for. And then give Kova a rest as well. He's played a lot of games. And then I'd probably go with a front 3 of Mount, Werner, and maybe Kai or Giroud. The reason why I'm leaning towards Kai is because even though Giroud is a threat, I feel like you guys are not going to play a low block. You're going to play a mid to a high block. Don't think it would make sense for you to sit back or do any of that stuff with your defenders. And I look at the pace that we could potentially have in behind. If you expect to share possession, there's a bit of pace in behind. There's space. And I'm thinking Kai, I'm thinking Timo, Bundesliga. They got a chemistry. They understand how to attack space. They can run beyond. And I'd like to see, like you said Phillips might actually do better with someone you can just get touch tight to. I'd like to see Phillips and Kabak, go up against movement. I'd like to see them go up against pace. That's where I feel like they could have problems. If you put maybe, I know Giroud aerially is quite dominant, but if you just stick a linchpin on them and just say get touch tight, it might be more suited to them just being able to stay in the game a bit longer. So I'd like to see some pace and movement. I'd probably go Timo and Kai up front. Brings you off the bench if need be.
He's gone a bit Conte, hasn't he, Tuchel, with this formation? Because Conte was, he's an advocate of the 3-5-2, wasn't he? And then he could switch it up as well. And I think he's trying to use Giroud as his Diego Costa. Obviously not as, good, because Diego Costa was just another different, kettle of fish in those 3 seasons at Chelsea. But yeah, I think he's trying to emulate that system. I think Tuchel is playing right now just a little bit cautious. He's playing not to lose first and foremost. I know it's easy as everyone can say it. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? But he's playing a bit cautious. He's not letting sort of like his players sort of roam around.
He's known for that. Yeah, but he's known for that.
Grizz, if you look at his Dortmund, his Dortmund teams were very flexible in movement.
He was young. He was a new coach. He was a fresh coach. No, but hear me out. He was a young, fresh, new coach. When you come as a young, fresh, new coach, you've got so many ideas. You want to play fast, attacking football, and that Dortmund was a delight to watch. But then, as experience teaches you that sometimes, you've got to be more pragmatic. Sometimes your teams have to evolve. near the end at PSG, he was ridiculed for being so defensive and having so much attacking talent, but not letting them off the leash, kind of thing. I think he's doing the same thing with Chelsea. As Matisse said, he's checking out what he's at, what he's got. He's got time to assess them, and I think we will see the true Tommy Tuchel Chelsea next season. I think he's got a target at the moment. He's got to do what he's got to do to get into that top 4. However he does it, it doesn't matter about the style. The style will be looked at next season, I think, from the fans and the owner's point of view. But Avi, he's picked his Chelsea team. Hit me with your Liverpool team, not what you think, because the team that you pick is going to get smashed up because you ain't, you know what I mean? So I want you to pick the team Klopp's going to pick. How are we setting up tomorrow?
I'll go with so hopefully Alisson's back. We know what he's been through, so Alisson's starting. Go with obviously Trent Robertson. I don't think Tsimikas was missing on the weekend, so I don't think he's fit, but I don't think he'll have gone anyway.
Yeah.
So Trent, Robbo, Phillips. You want me to go with what I would want or what Klopp's going with?
No, I don't want to know what you want.
You don't want no nonsense from me.
I don't no nonsense. I want to know what you think Klopp's what's gonna win us the game tomorrow. What Klopp's gonna pick, because Klopp's gonna pick the team, the winning team.
Trent, Kabak, Phillips, Robertson. I think he goes with Gini, Fab, Jones, and I think he goes with Salah, Mane, and he goes with Diogo Jota.
Really? Yeah? Do you really think that?
That's what that's what I'm led to believe, Grizz. Whether you want to believe that or not.
Okay.
You know I'm a bit of a waffler, but yeah, I think Diogo Jota starts tomorrow. I really do.
Okay, fair enough. People, you know where to find Avi if that goes tits up and he doesn't start. Don't give me the abuse. Give him the abuse.
Go to my old account. Don't go to my new account.
But Matisse, if that's the lineup that we're going to put forward, right? And if Jota comes back into this team and we see how Jota started off the season, electric. Do you see, personally, do you see us dropping Thiago? What have you made of Thiago from the outside? And what have you made of the Liverpool situation? Any sympathy for us, brother? Any sympathy?
Yeah, no, I do, because I feel like, when you have defenders, the amount of, defenders you've had missing, no amount of signings can cover for that in terms of in the summer. Just gone. A lot of people say you don't have the depth. No one has the depth to deal with that many centre-back injuries. Nobody. And if you do have the depth to deal with it, then your squad is bloated and you're going to have problems in the dressing room. So you can't have it both ways. People, we talk about having bloated squads, and then you've got, when everyone's fit, then what? You've got seniors that are on 100k a week and they're all complaining in the background, and you haven't got harmony. So the amount of centre backs you've had injured is not normal. That's not something that you can handle, especially in one position. People talk about amount of injuries. That's fine. Then in one area, that's downright wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna have 5-6 injuries, spread them out across the pitch a little bit. And then the way that you guys have tried to correct it in terms of bringing your midfielders into it, then compensates to midfield. So now you've actually killed 2 birds with 1 stone. You've now got defenders who are midfielders who, again, Henderson's not centre-back, so your defence is still screwed. Your midfield is now screwed because you don't have Henderson in there and you don't have your top midfielders. So your chances created is going to get affected from the midfield. And then your fullbacks are going to be looking at your centre-backs and saying, Trent's going to be looking at Henderson. I don't know if I can bomb forward. I've got Henderson next. I'll tuck in. Need to help him out. Klopp's probably telling him the same thing. You can't bomb on. You got, it's not Matip and Van Dijk back there. It's Henderson and Fabinho. Maybe sit back a bit. And that affects it. And then it kind of like infects the whole team, I think is the word, infects. It's like a parasite. It spreads, and then the whole team is infected. So I do sympathize with you guys a bit on that perspective.
See, this is what I mean. This is people that sort of watch Sky Sports and some of the tabloids, and they've been asking questions like, now you guys know why I brought Matisse on this show. Look at the analysis the brother gave. Yeah, that's a simple analysis of why. And people have been talking nonsense about the worst champions and what. You can't have this excuse. You can't have this. Look how he broke it down. This is what I mean. This is why we give you quality guests, quality content on this show. And that's why we should have 10K subs at least by now. I'm disappointed, lads. Like, honestly, if people are there, they haven't subscribed to the channel, you need to up your game, man. And we need to get to 10K subs, because I'm not going to lie. There's a massive, huge giveaway when we reach 10K subs. So, you know, and people need to subscribe to our channel, like the stream. I'm sorry we had to come with a 9 o'clock kickoff today. As I said, we double booked, but Matisse has made some points there that you're not going to get of Sky Sports and, you know, and radio and tabloid, man. Look how he broke down the Liverpool situation, man. But Avi and Matisse, before I wrap up, I need to have some predictions. Avi, I'm going to go with you first and how you think the game's going to go.
Liverpool win 2-1. Salah and Jota to score, and then they'll grab one. They'll grab one late on through. I don't know. I think they'll grab one through Giroud late on.
You're proper on this
Jota,
aren't you? You're proper.
I really don't see Jota playing, man. That would be shocking.
Matisse, listen, Matisse. This brother, right? Even though he's sitting in Cali, yeah, right. I'm telling you, he's got certain connections, and I wouldn't put it past him to know that Jota's starting tomorrow. I can't see it myself, but yeah, man, I can't see it myself. Me and you, like, we're football men, and we're looking at it from a footballistic point of view, like training and everything. But this guy's got certain connections, man. If Jota starts tomorrow, then boy, we have to say props to Avi, bro. How are you seeing the game, Matisse?
I think it's a 50-50 game. I think it's very tight because it's literally two teams that I think are going to be quite progressive in their approach. I think they kind of have to be. Both need a win. I think your defense and our attack will decide the game. A lot of people say it's won and lost in midfield. I think it's your defense and our attack. It depends if we take our chances. Depends if your defense, you know, steps up to the level required. And I'm going to go over 2-1 Chelsea win. More just optimism because we have to win. We need 3 points for as long as we're not in the top 4 and we're behind West Ham. Every single game I'm going to be saying is a must win.
The psyche of a football fan's mad though, isn't it, Matisse? Like we've seen teams go there and beat Liverpool the last 4 games, and we're thinking, you know what I mean? And Chelsea are thinking, or certain Chelsea fans must be thinking, "Wait, listen, Brighton went there, Burnley went there and done a job."
Yeah, but no, it's not how it works.
That's not how it works. It's a madness. Football's mad.
We just played Southampton. We lost. I think they've lost 6 games in a row. We played them as 1-1. So, if anything, I'm more worried because of your form.
It's mad. I can't even sit here. You know my prediction anyway, but about like it's not going to be a 0-0 because if it's a 0-0, it's disaster for me because after I've made some mad bet. I don't know what came over me, but it can't be. It's not going to be 0-0. I'm not even going to address it. I'm not even going to talk about it. It's not going to be 0-0. I can safely 100% say that. Otherwise, are
you tipping us to win though? At least because are you like going all like sitting on the fence again like you always do? Are you actually going to tip us to win?
No. I don't sit on the fence. I have certain ways of predicting. I look forward to the build-up. I see the injury situations. I'm a real football man, Avi. I analyze the situation. So I'm not going to sit here and just predict 4-0 wins like you do every week. You know what I mean? So
I've just said 2-1. I've just said 2-1. You're going into like Pythagoras theorem right now with all these equations and stuff.
No, you do. You have to look at the teams. You have to look at the formations. If certain players are playing, I'm hoping they're not playing Pulisic because Pulisic turns up against us. I'm hoping they're not playing Giroud. I'm hoping THIAGO isn't dropped like you're saying, because THIAGO will thrive in this kind of game because Chelsea's level is his, like it's the kind of game they're not going to look to boot him out of the game. You understand? I can't see Jorginho and Kovacic sort of hurting him or something. You know what I mean? Trying to boot him out of the game. They're going to play football. So I'm going to sit on no, I'm not going to sit on the fence. I'm going to say Liverpool, a 2-1 win for Liverpool. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
So exactly what I've just said. You're just agreeing with that now.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, but I have a different way of saying it. You understand? Everyone has their own style. Listen, it's been a fantastic show. Sorry, again, viewers, listeners, that we had to come in at such a early time. But go make a coffee, go make a tea, because we are live again at 10 p.m. We've got Jamie hosting the midweek fix with Mr. Thompson, the ex-Liverpool player on the show. So that should be a great program. Matisse, brother, thank you very much. We're going to catch up, obviously. But where can the people find you? Big up your show, man. Talk about your channel.
Yeah, people, MAH is where you can find me. MAH, just three letters, nice and simple on YouTube. Daily content coming at you. We're probably going to be looking back at this game with Alexis Nunes, if you know her from ESPN. Great reporter. So yeah, that's what's coming up. And like I said, we need goals, Grizz, because if there's no goals, we're going to be on the big six. You're going to be wearing your Man United top. I'm going to be bald. I'm going to do it. I'm
going to do it as well. Yeah, I'm a man of my word.
0-0, I'm going bald. I think the team. I think I deserve it. You know, for watching that. So,
100%, 100%. If it's 0-0, I'm gonna wear a Man United top. There's 100%. I'm a man of my word. People on this show,
you gotta be a man of your word. 100%.
Matisse, people on this show know I'm a man of my word. I've done mad shit on this, man. I've sang E17 songs and all sorts, man. You know what I mean? For bets I've lost, but my brother from Cali, what's going on? Everything good in Cali? Thank you for joining me. What time is it over there again?
It's just coming up to 2 p.m. So I'm just going to take some late lunch.
How did you had a scan on your meniscus? Everything all right?
All right, Grizz. Let's not get personal here. No, everything's fine.
You know, listen.
A little bit of a clean up because of my football career out here. So just cleaning up the knee.
People need to know. So you know, what I mean, like, what's going on in your personal life as well. Like we got this. Listen, we have to have this relationship with the listener and viewers that they know they feel part of the family. You know what I mean? Not just people talking. But listen, guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on, both of you. Thank you for the chat. You know, I don't know how to do this technology shit and bring up the comments, but Avi was supposed to do it. I'm going to train him again during the week. Hopefully, it's better by next week. Matisse, love you. We're going to chat soon. Everyone else, over and out. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for another show.